deleted the blank one and mailed it in a few days ago. And then, I think it was yesterday, I get another blank one in the mail, but it had different logos on it. So that's it, I think. So why am I getting multiple ones?
And not only multiple, I would expect you to get 4 or 5 more. You have different organizations sending them out, different voter groups. You're going to probably receive one from the Democrats, the Republicans, Next Gen. You received one from my office. You're going to receive one from Paul Pate. So it just, the list goes on and on.
But your office,
is there a central spot where once you've requested a ballot that you're checked off as having been sent one, that they'll stop sending these extra things?
No, all they do is buy a list from our office. Okay. And not even our office. I think they're using the state database, so they have no idea if you've mailed one in or not. So you're going to continue to receive them left and right.
Okay, because I got 3 in the mail yesterday, one from the state, one from Johnson County, and then I got a request for a felon request to vote. So, and I'm not a felon, but I got the request for being able to vote after I get out of jail. So.
And I should make it.
Well, don't you feel like you're in jail though?
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere.
If you go out to the Secretary of State's website, you can check on your absentee ballot request form, so you can know when it arrives in our office. And then on top of that, when we mail the ballot out on October 5th, you can follow it on the same website.
Okay,
you can see when you mailed it out when you receive it. Yep.
That's good to know. Yeah.
So you go to Secretary of State website.
Yes. Yep. And the other thing, when you get your absentee request envelope, there's a bunch of when you get your ballot from us, if you vote by mail, there's a bunch of numbers at the bottom, barcode. That's a tracking number for us, or a tracking thing. We can see it go through every postal system in the U.S. So no matter where you are, we know where your ballot is at any time. Now, having said that, we never know how you vote. We're just tracking to make sure your ballot gets to us.
Okay, that's through the Secretary of State. Okay, that's.
Well, I always thought there was something kind of sacred about voting. That you guys were the guys that were in charge of sending out all those requests and stuff, and all these things flooding in the mail got me a little concerned.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not us. I mean, any organization can buy a list and send out absentee requests. One of the things, of course, I can't go into a lot of detail because it's in litigation right now, but you can take a blank piece of paper. I believe if it's 8 by 5 inches, you can just fill out your name, address, driver's license number, and sign it and mail it to the office and say, I want an absentee request, and I have
Voter ready, Iowa Gov.
He's going through a black spot.
We've lost you, Travis.
You got to get out of that tunnel.
Put up that voter ready Iowa Gov link again, whoever put that up.
Oh man, we lost him.
Well, I haven't even looked at those blank ones that came in. Do we need a voter ID number or something like that? I don't have any idea what mine is.
It's your driver's. You can use your driver's license number.
I can find that one.
Yeah, the pin was on the pre-filled one, and that's the one in litigation
Voter
right now.
Iowa.gov.
Yeah, Jeannie, click on the chat and you can see that.
I got it now.
But it's not, that's the link of the one that's sending you an extra ballot. Where you track your absentee ballot request is the one that Angela sent out.
Okay.
Secretary of State.
Oh, I'll have to get in that email. Okay.
Just click on the chat at the bottom of your screen and you can see it on the right-hand side of the Zoom.
Travis, when he gets back, I have a question about that stupid PIN number.
Yeah.
Well, it was just assigned randomly on that ballot request. The pre-printed one, and that's the one in litigation, so it doesn't matter.
It's on your voter card.
I decided
Oh, it's not on the voter
It's
card.
not on your
it's not
vote.
on the voter card because I looked and the form I filled out said driver's ID or the PIN number, but I was
Correct.
skeptical of the PIN number, so
Yes, sir.
I my driver's license.
Just ignore it and use your ID.
I did, but I think it's
Driver's
very
license.
confusing for people because
Well-
they wonder where is the PIN number.
It was confusing, but you can track it on the Secretary of State website to be sure they got it, and then just ignore everything else you get in the mail.
Yeah.
Well,
I understand
Right.
that, but I think putting that PIN on there at all is confusing for people.
Well, I agree. Here we're tracking it and discussing it. Think of all the people that it just like must really make them.
Yeah, the first time I filled it out, I thought, well, is that on my ID card? Or where is that coming from?
Yep.
But I'm sure a
Travis,
lot of people are getting confused by the multiple posts.
Yes, that too.
That confused people terribly. Yeah.
Well, I actually called up the auditor's office the other day, and they said you can send as many of those in as you want. It doesn't confuse them down there.
Yeah, you'll still only get one ballot.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Travis,
you
what is
know,
the PIN number?
So you want me to talk about the PIN number?
Yeah.
So I am not legally allowed to mail out your PIN number. I still have to mail out those stupid voter registration forms. The only way I can send you a PIN number, your PIN number, which you own, is if you request it from the office. So that's
Why do
why.
you even have it on there?
Well, it's not on the voter registration forms we send out, and it's supposed to be a confidential number. But if you think about it, it's only 4 digits, which means there's only 10,000 combinations. We have almost 100,000 people in Johnson County that are registered to vote. So you have 10 people with the same PIN number. And that's kind of why I'm in court right now over this whole PIN number thing.
mm-hmm.
Well, I have a question for Travis.
Recall requesting a PIN number.
Well, no, you didn't.
I thought Travis just said that you
You
get
can request it, but it's not required.
So I'm
So-
not allowed to mail out the PIN number when I mail you your voter registration card. However, you can call the office and say, I want you to mail me my PIN number.
Oh, for crying out loud.
But why bother? It's not required to request your ballot.
I don't know why.
And
So
my
you just-
argument-
My friends look okay.
Just log on to the Secretary of State website. Be sure they've gotten a ballot request from you.
So that whoever's talking, that's the picture.
Does that make sense?
okay.
Travis, is
Are you
that
there?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So no, when you talk about your ballot being counted, there's, like I said, there's that barcode on your ballot that we're able to track. So we can count your ballot up to a couple of days before the election, long as you drop it in the mail by Monday night. So it will be counted. That's how we track it. It's called Intelligent Mail Barcode.
Travis,
Great.
are they going to have an outside drop box?
We will at our office. Yes, and right now we even have one. It's not it was makeshift for us, the treasurer and recorder, because of the pandemic, so people can drop stuff off. It's safe, secure, but we're buying an official one. And I can tell you that we have the one we're buying, the Denver Fire Department, because they do all mail voting. So you get your ballot, everything is by mail. The Denver Fire Department went, and the only way you can destroy a person's ballot and these things is to blow it up. You can't, if you pour gas into it, try to light it on fire, it won't work. So it's safe and secure.
That sounds great.
What a sorry
Yes.
statement, though, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Well, but I also think that it isn't a single party that is driving the multiple ballots. It's the Voters for Iowa. It's several organizations who are concerned in getting out the maximum vote possible. So it's both parties, and then it's independent voter advocacy groups.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I mentioned, you have the Iowa voter mailing that one out. You're going to probably have one from Next Gen. I can't even tell you. AARP is sending out one to their members. I mean, the list goes on and on.
And it's because of the heightened concern in getting out the vote this year on everybody's part. So that's why we're being bombarded.
You're right. You're exactly right. But I will tell you, no matter how many absentee request forms you receive, you're only going to get one ballot.
So you said that you can start counting a couple days before the election. So you probably will have most of these mail-in ballots counted by the time of the election. So we'll know what the number is that night, maybe.
We're allowed to start counting Monday. Lynn County Auditor Joel Miller had sent a letter yesterday asking to give us another couple of days to start. Now, so when I say we start counting, yeah, we'll have everything ready by, we're required by law to have it published by 10 o'clock Tuesday night of the election. But when I say we start counting, we count, but nobody, not even myself, knows who's winning the race on Monday.
Right.
And our machines, with all the audit stuff involved, there is no way any of us can look at the results.
Sounds great.
Why do you have to publish by 10 o'clock on Tuesday? Is that the law?
Yes, state law. 10 p.m. Tuesday night, everything has to be published in Iowa.
How long has that law been in?
I mean, I have no idea. Probably a long, long time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because it sounds like, I don't think this election's going to be decided on Tuesday. I think it's going to take quite a while for everybody to get the absentee ballots counted. So,
and I can tell you this much, and I'm on the national election board, talking with other states. They have started purchasing extra equipment to make sure that we can try to get results out Tuesday night. Every state is doing what they can right now to make sure Tuesday night, when the election's over, we're good to go.
Are you sure it's every state?
Every state that I pretty much. I mean, I can't name one that I don't believe in. The big question is going to be all these absentee ballots in some states. Do they have enough, as we call them, high-speed tabulators to count them all quickly? And even here in Johnson County, we looked at buying another machine just as a backup, and Lynn County is also doing the same thing. I mean, we feel confident, but when you're talking about counting for us 60-some thousand absentees, when normally, or probably even closer to 80, and normally we're only at, on a general, we probably had 50,000. I mean, that's a huge influx for us.
Right.
So how much do one of those machines cost?
Hundreds of thousands.
Travis, are they allowing more time because of the problems with the post office? Or are they just setting a certain date before the election that all the voters have to be in?
Say that question again, sorry.
Because of the problems with the post office.
Yep.
And fear of things not being delivered on time, are they allowing more time for these absentee ballots to arrive? Or is there a deadline before the election when they have to be in?
There's a deadline. Like I said, they have to be in the mail. I believe it's Monday. I know it's Monday. But like I said, we have a tracking code on it. So the minute it goes into the postal system, we'll know it's in there. So then that it should be able to be counted. I mean, there's so many days after the election, but we're able to go back and that IMB code I talked about, we're able to go back and say, oh yeah, she mailed her ballot Monday afternoon. This is good.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be that problem that they had, I can't remember exactly, Northwest Iowa, where there was the postal codes weren't on it. And
So, yeah, it's funny you bring that up. That's where I grew up, in Northeast Iowa, that exact district. So what happened there was, before the state legislature started allowing us to put the IMB code on the envelopes, the post office was already tracking the mail, and they could tell when it had been in the system. But the legislature and lawyers ruled that we weren't allowed to use that system. So they changed the law 2 or 3 years ago now to allow us to put our own tracking codes on them. So those ballots should have, if you ask me, those ballots should have been counted.
Right.
Is there going to be a drop box at the administration building? Is that allowed?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, that was the only spot we can have one.
Okay, you don't have to get out. You just drive up and drop it in?
That is our hope. We're planning on having 2, one where you can just drive up and drop it.
And when will that be?
We hope to have it here probably within the next week or 2. But again, we can't even start mailing out ballots till October 5th.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you're not allowed to have any other drop boxes? I know there was some talk of having them in Hy-Vees.
Yes, that's correct. We're not allowed to. The Secretary of State shot that idea down.
But you can still fill out your absentee ballot, and you could turn it into the auditor's office earlier.
You can turn it in anytime at our office.
And also, an option would be any of the early voting sites that are set up, correct?
Yep, you are correct. You can drop your filled out absentee ballot there at a satellite site, as we call them.
Oh, I forgot about that.
How many satellites are you going to have?
So we're about ready to release that information to the public. We're going to definitely have the Iowa City Public Library, I believe North Liberty, Coralville. We're working on a site for Swisher Shoeyville. We're going to have one in Tiffin. So on the IMU, or at the Iowa campus, the Iowa Memorial Union. So we'll have plenty of them.
Are you having trouble getting poll workers?
Surprisingly, no. A lot of businesses are offering their employees time off if they work the polls for us. So we have a lot of younger people out of nowhere now that want to work the polls, which is great.
Yes.
She's recording it, so she can put this on there.
That's great. I'm surprised.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows too, we have received multiple grants where we're going to have so much PPE gear that everybody is going to be protected when they vote.
Huh. Travis, you're doing a great job.
We were even debating in the office. We believe under the law that I can mandate if you want to vote at a satellite, you have to put a mask on to come in, and we're going to do that.
Good.
Good. Well, isn't there a mask mandate in Johnson County?
Yes, but that doesn't mean people are following it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But I'm not going to jeopardize the health of my poll workers. So
No, I should say not.
Any other questions?
No, I don't.
We still haven't seen the baby.
I can't even. It'd be pretty hard. Hang on, I'll try to.
Okay.
Tell them I'll show them my.
We'll show you our baby.
She showed up on the front
Right here.
Oh,
There you go.
cute. Is that a Jack Russell?
She's a half miniature Australian Shepherd and a half rat terrier.
Oh, yeah, she looks sort of Jack
Which
Russell.
are our two other dogs, strangely enough, although this one's not related.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm happy to do another one of these calls when we get closer to the election if you guys have more questions.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
We appreciate the information.
Thank you very much.
Hang on one second.
Here's your toy. Here's your toy right here.
Can you see the baby?
You have to stay here though.
Can't even see Travis.
Oh, sorry, we're trying to show the baby, but I guess she won't come through. So,
Okay.
Oh, no.
but yeah, I'm happy to do as we get closer to October 5th. I'd love to do another one of these calls so I can answer more questions and put you at ease about your ballots.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I feel better already.
Good. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I get a lot of questions, Travis. I don't know how to answer people, so this is really helpful.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I've been recording so that I can have, the answers for people when they ask.
I can't speak for other states. I mean, I kind of can, but I'll tell you this much. Here in Iowa, we have one of the best robust systems in the country. People should feel safe, secure voting, whether it's by mail or at the precinct. Your ballot's going to count. We don't have dead people voting. We don't have any of that.
And you also make sure you have enough polling places and enough people to filter through everybody so they have a chance to vote. There's no lines. There's no funny business, right?
No.
Like
Anything
in other
over,
places that they try to limit the amount of polling places, and we do a good job here.
Yeah, absolutely. The Iowa law doesn't allow that. Not only can we not, move polling places around to, kind of do what like Georgia and other states do to make you stand outside for an hour. We call our polling sites throughout the day to make sure nobody is waiting more than 20 minutes.
Wow.
Well, good.
What do you think about the voter requiring ID to vote? What have you been doing lately with that? I know that that's a thing now, but
I mean, obviously
still working?
it is what it is, but I've never been a fan of having to show your ID to vote. I've always thought, it's a constitutional right. On top of that, I mean, you worked in the office, Angela. We pretty much put poll workers at sites where they know everybody that comes in. So there's really no reason to show ID when the poll workers know everybody.
That's not for something.
I mean, what is the risk of voter fraud really around here? Not very high.
So the Brennan Center and others just released different studies they've done. It's like 0.0001%. So, think about that in the grand scheme of things. And I remind people all the time that it's not double voting that people should be worried about, because you would have to, if you're going to mess with an election, you have to find a way to get so many people to double vote or try to mess with the system, which isn't possible. The scariest thing is if somebody like Russia, China gets into the voting system and removes everybody's name from the voter rolls. So when you show up on election day, you have to re-register, which then we would have really long lines, and then it would become problemsome.
I've always thought that was real. I mean, who would risk a felony for one vote? That's crazy.
Well, and not only that, I mean, risk a felony to vote twice when you're talking about, in Johnson County, 80,000 ballots for the presidential election. That's not going to swing the election.
No. There's just way too much risk involved in trying to do it that way.
Absolutely.
And you have staff that literally goes through the death, like the names in the obituaries and death certificates to remove people like every day.
Yes.
From the system.
Talk about one of the worst jobs in the world every day. We have an employee who starts out looking at the obituaries to remove all the Johnson County people.
Is that Harry still?
No, John does it, but Harry is back in the office right now, Angela.
Awesome. I love Harry.
So anything else, guys? I'd love to do this again once we get closer to October 5th and talk about when the ballots go out.
Sure.
And very helpful. Thank you.
I think we have time the third week, or the third Friday of October, I think is open. That would be the 16th. That'll get us a lot closer, and we can talk about where we're at.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then people can kind of see where their ballots are, because we'll be mailing them out by then. They can make sure that they're in the office and safely secured.
What time is your photo shoot with the baby?
Right now, and she's
okay.
Getting fussy.
Well,
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us, Travis, and we will touch base again in 3 weeks, or on the 16th of October. So in about
cool. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Angela.
Yes, of course.
I'm going to fill it out right now and get it in.
And now you know that if you fill out all of them, you will be fine. You will only get to vote once still.
I will not fill out all of them.
And then you can track it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, of course.